Welcome everyone. It's race day at Spa, and I'm happy to have you all here to join us at CIL Week 2 of our Season 10. And look, it's a nice, wonderful day out here at Spa. 106 degrees. Currently out on track. We got a couple people going around before we do get into our qualifying. Obviously, the race is going to start in about 10 minutes. Um, we really don't know what it's going to look like so far in terms of strategy to go on and whatnot, but uh, for the most part, in the two that we've seen before, obviously last week we were at Indianapolis, and before that we were at VIR. We've seen about one pit stop, and it seemed like the undercut was pretty strong. How this is going to work here at Spa, not entirely too sure. I imagine we're going to see that play out, but again, we had hot temperatures last week at Indy. We saw a ton of spins just because people were getting those tires a little too warm. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we do see, something like that again here on this track at Spa. Just because of how fast you're going down the straight, going into turn 5. It is a very sharp turn. It is essentially almost 90 degrees that they got to make. You got to slow down, and maybe you're sitting drafting, and you're going to the Rouge, um, going through that and going past that. You're going to be trying to catch people. You're going to be trying to draft them, and we're not going to see as crazy of a turn 1 as we did last time at Indy, but I'm just excited to see it. We got some higher production value tonight. We do got some driver cams to be showing you guys throughout. Someone has a nice moment, we'll be able to toss it on there. And it looks like we are going to get started into qualifying. Racers are off the track as of this moment, but we have dropped about 2 degrees since we've started, which is nice, obviously, as look, it's not necessarily going to be as, little complicated as we saw at Indy. Indy very much not as technical of a track as we do hop on board with Jordan Johnson here as he's going around the track just doing qualifying. I'm excited to see some of those laps that are going to be put up, what time people are going to be running. Obviously, when you do get out on that hot lap, you just got to keep those tires warm, and just try and get them up to temp to really combat. These cars when you first take them out, they kind of struggle with just a bit of that coldness that we have seen as Jordan Johnson. We saw him last race at Indy, made an excellent, spectacular performance, ended up in the P2 at the very end. Unfortunately, was fighting with a leaf for most of the race, wasn't able to pull off the win, but he's looking to take it back here. And even last night in our Formula series, had a great battle with a leaf, and I'm excited to see those two go at it again as we do hop on board here. Look at him go as he does go around this track. And it's just absolutely beautiful as we do see him go through right back to this, what I believe is the start finish. You can see the grid there for us. Coming down to this turn 1. And a nice little right-hander there, trying not to overcook himself. Coming back, taking all the use of the curbing there. Excellent as we come to, obviously, the most famous part of the track, the Eau Rouge. Pardon my French. Oh, and a nice little glide through there. You always gotta love the roar of the engine on these cars as they just hammer down this straight. Obviously, right here, we're gonna see a bit of passing as he comes up to our turn 6 right there. Just passed in. Here's that little right-hander for turn 7. Excellent job from Jordan Johnson here. Now we got a big slowdown to this once again, just a right-hander, and then a nice little left turn down here at turn 9. Coming down to 10 here at Pohan. Excellent use of all the curbing, once again from Jordan Johnson from Kent State University. And here's our turn 12 into 13. Here's the campus turn. Here's this turn 15 coming out of this one. And we got a little ways. Obviously, there is a bit of turning here, but pretty much from what I can see of Jordan Johnson, pretty much full out is going to have to slow down after this one, taking use of all the curbing in that turn 17, coming down to the chicane. The chicane. We've got to love this one, and that is our full lap of Spa. Setting a nice 159.7, and here's a Leaf running through it himself as Johnson taking that first place in qualifying so far. Obviously, you know, we got another lap or two to go around for these drivers, as realistically, just warming the tires up on that first one, getting it together through practice. A Leaf only sitting 0.2. But you know what's interesting, actually? Our third place right now, Keynes from UMass, is actually sitting a full second behind, as Davidson puts in a lap of his there in first. And here's Cale Davidson from Ball State. You know, we talked about some Ball State dominance before, especially in the clash. You know, if they hit on those setups, maybe they're going to be talking to each other about this course. And really just maybe working together and whatnot to try and get something going, get those high placements. So we do see Cale Davidson just going around doing a little qualifying here. Happy to be sitting third. You know, it's interesting. I am excited to see when Alexander Diamond puts in a lap. Imagine he's still just going through his qualifying right now, but off the top of my head, I do remember that he was third in our Indy race, as we see him going around the track here. Third in our Indy race for qualifying. Coming down to what I believe is the chicane here. Ooh, almost lost it a little bit there. That rear kind of came out from under him. But there's that lap for him done. And unfortunately, a bit slower than what I think he would have liked, especially coming from Indy to this one, sitting at P11 from that one. Hoping to make it up with one little last one. And here we hop on to Lucas Moody, driving down around this track, once again coming to the near end of it. And you just gotta love the roar of these prototypes as they just zoom around the track. Once again, coming through the chicane here at the end of Spa. As we do hop on board with Lucas Moody, setting a respectable 201.45. Enough to put him in 8th, P8 for Lucas Moody there from Ball State University. And we did talk about those Ball State University cars. I already mentioned them once, but look at them right now. A Leaf sitting in 2nd, Davison in 3rd, Skinker in 7th, Moody in 8th for our qualifying. As we are watching here, Hunter Hadesty putting in possibly one last qualifying lap, already sitting P6. And here we are looking at Mark Turek from Pennsylvania College of Technology. Ooh, just a little bit of An overcook there into the final chicane of this track. Gonna cost him some time here on that qualifying. Unfortunately, not gonna be what you want to see, as I do believe that was his last quality lap. And here is Esteban Munoz from Florida International University, setting a little lap there, taking all of that curbing through the Eau Rouge. Oh, pardon my French for the rest of the broadcast, please. So you do see him coming down to turn 5 here. Here's that lovely right-hander for turn 7. You get a little bit of speed coming through there, take all the curbing. Do have to slow down a lot coming to turn 8, however. And a little slow there through that turn 9. I saw as Jordan Johnson was qualifying and Leaf, when we watched their little onboard, they took a lot of that corner coming through that turn 9 and really just sent it. So it might be a part of the track where we'll see a lot of time made up. Ooh, and a little unfortunate there for Esteban Munoz. He just overcooks it a little bit, goes into the sand, and unfortunately that will be the end of his qualifying lap. And you know, we talked about this when we were at Indy. It was absurdly hot. I think the highest temperature we reached was 105 degrees, and obviously temperature is going to fluctuate throughout the race. But right now, track temperature is sitting at 111 Fahrenheit. I mean, you cannot make that up. Um, it gets hot, and especially with these cars, it just absolutely cooks the tires over time. And you know what? I think it's going to be an exciting race day here at Spa as we do start to hop the grid here. And first, we got Jordan Johnson from Kent State University setting a nice qualifying lap for himself. In second, we got R. Muhammad Ali from Ball State University. In third, Cale Davidson, once again from Ball State. Gotta love those Ball State cars. In fourth, we got Ben Fiore, a famous person on the broadcast so far. Love calling him out, from Marist College. In fifth, we got Dylan Keynes from UMass. In sixth, we got Hunter Hadesty from Clemson University. In seventh, Bradley Skinker from Ball State University. And Lucas Moody rounding out our top 8 here as the 8th car from Ball State. In ninth, we got Andrew Williams, once again from Clemson, right actually in front of his other friend, Andrew Burrell from Clemson University, sitting there in 10th. In 11th, we got Edwin Onofre from the University of North Texas. In 12th, Jason Wallet from Drexel. 13th, Adrian Tubakovic from St. Clair College. In 14th, we got Robert, I apologize for your last name, Kiesel from Florida International University. In 15th, Alexander Diamond from Drexel. And in 16th, Athena Leclerc from St. Clair College. In 17th, Timothy Wilms from Drexel. 18th is Aiken Lamar from Howard Community College. 19th, we got Alan Hong from St. Clair College. In 20th, we got Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte. 21st is Esteban Munoz, who we saw run around the track there doing qualifying from Florida International. 22nd is Mark Turek from Penn State. And we got 23rd is Nick Stockner from Clemson University. A couple cars not there setting a qualifying lap, but you know, as we see Robert Kiesel Jr. going around the track here, unfortunately spinning it just a little bit coming into the turn here. And again, it's going to get hot. These tires are going to wear. The undercut may be strong. We just don't know yet. We'll definitely see during the race, however, and I am excited to see how that's going to go, for sure. Man, I've talked about it before, but you gotta love the roar of these engines as they just go around and around the track. As we do hop on board here, just to hear it a little bit more, they are absolutely lovely, especially on a track like Spa where we do get obviously that very long straight coming out of the Eau Rouge. It is so enjoyable to listen to. And we'll listen to the engines here for a little bit. I'll shut up. And here we are on board with Dylan Keynes now, coming through that start finish, coming down to our lovely turn 1 at La Source. Absolutely nice there. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that turn 1. Hopefully no carnage, obviously, but you never know. It's turn 1. You know, it's the turn 1 at every track, but at least it's not Monza, right? Could be Monza, could be worse. But lovely, famous, historical track, which I'm glad we get to see these cars come here. I'm sure the drivers are excited. And hopefully we're going to see a lot of overtakes as that practice has ended. And it does look like we are getting into grid now. And listen, it's definitely going to be a little bit of possibly an endurance race in the sense that you don't mess up, you could potentially gain a lot of positions. We've seen it at both races so far, at the Clash and at our first, obviously, official for points race, Indianapolis. Love that course. And there were a lot of cars that just gained positions by not spinning out. Obviously, this is a new series to the CAL, so a lot of people are going to be getting used to these cars. It's about 2 races now. We're sitting in our third one, so hopefully less spins. But with the track temp this high, I certainly wouldn't blame a driver for overcooking the tires a little bit. It's going to happen. Good news is tires obviously going to get a lot warmer a lot faster, so maybe we're going to see a little bit of earlier pits as we do come here. They're setting off to pace themselves to come around. Once again, we do have Jordan Johnson sitting up here in that P1 position. I'm sure he's going to be happy about that one. And in second, for, just kind of round out, we do have R. Muhammad Alif. Those two obviously going to be fighting. Cale Davidson sitting in that third position right now. And then for our little fourth, we got Benjamin Fior. We're going to be rounding out our little top 4 here. So we are going to hop on board for this start here at Spa. This is going to be the start of our second race here. Engines are going to get going. People are going to start zooming, and hopefully there's going to be no carnage. As they do round this corner here, we are going to get the green flag.
Green flag, green flag.
There it is, green flag, go, go, go. And Jordan Johnson already hopping way away, but let's get on board with Leaf here. Coming down here, just sitting on the back of Jordan Johnson. He's already made a decent way away from a Leaf, but Spa, such a historical track as we are coming down to turn 5, 6, and 7 as we come around this bend here. Leaf trying to keep up with Johnson as we do hop to Bradley Skinker here. Just sitting. Everyone's in line so far. Doesn't look like anything bad has happened just yet. No smoke on the track. The Skinker trying to catch up to Hunter Hasty sitting in front of him just a little bit too far away. Looks like he is just keeping pace though someone seems to have overcooked it a little bit up there in the front. This Skinker sitting here in a nice position as we do go to Cale Davidson. Davidson trying to get around Benjamin Fiore there. Fiore is just going to hold the position for now, but ooh, it looks like he almost had him there for a second. Fiore losing a bit of time, more than he would like through some of these corners, as Davidson just hounding on him, makes the move. Cale Davidson almost sends Fiore a little bit off, but gave him just enough room to keep his tracks on as he does make that pass there. And now here's Skinker looking on with Lucas Canes. Passes Canes here side by side coming down into this turn. Ooh, and maybe a little bit of contact there from Skinker and Hadesty. Not entirely too sure, but there's Lucas Moody coming up behind Skinker. See if he can't get something going on. All-state on All-state car. As now we see Andrew Williams getting, I believe, almost side by side with Dylan Kane sitting in front of him right now. A very close racing so far as we're coming back to turn 1 once again. Already done our first little lap there of the track, and here's a no fray. Ooh, a little bit of a spin there from Andrew Burrell sitting behind him. Burrell probably wants to try and get around him, unfortunately. Nothing yet so far. Still warming the tires as no fray coming through our famous Rouge. Gotta love that part of the track. As Burrell and Wallet are actually fighting there behind them, as we have Stockner trying to get around Aka Lamar here, sitting in 18th and 19th respectively. As we're coming down this straight, makes the move, goes on his inside, sends it. Ooh, but unfortunately just cooks up his brakes way too hard. That's Stockner off into the dirt with Wilms, I believe, also going into the grass there behind them. Just an unfortunate, we did catch it on camera there though. He made the move, just wasn't able to, unfortunately, stick that fully, and that's gonna cost him an amount of time, as now Stockner falling behind Mark Turek and Clint Halterman. It's now Turek possibly trying to get around Halterman sitting there close behind him. And here we have Nunez trying to get on to Burrell. Sitting on his back bumper right now, makes the move on the inside, going to be able to take this corner. Ooh, and a little bit of a tap there. Fortunately, nothing too serious for both of those cars, but nice little tap there between the both of them, fighting for this 15th position. Burrell just going to want to take as much as he can here and not really give any space back to Munez. As we saw, he did try and pass him, and there he goes for the move again, and the more contact, and actually, sorry, there's a car sideways here at the end of the chicane. That was Robert Keeson Jr. Not sure what he was doing there, but he was sideways as now we hop on to Lucas Moody, and that was an interaction between two cars there at the end of the chicane, as we do see another car. I do believe that is Burrell that went off. We're not too sure what happened there, but here we are with Leclerc fighting off Munez, but Burrell spins it behind. Unfortunately, I was too busy looking at the rear wing of this car here, as a little bit of a flash of the light there from Esteban Munez. Unfortunately, hopefully that didn't take anyone else out. It looks like the cars were able to get around Burrell safely, as a nice little pass there from Munez on to Leclerc. Getting around, threw up the lights with safety, as we do jump here to Stockner. Stockner trying to defend against Mark Turek here. And we've had a lot of close racing so far. Some spins, which again, I talked about the temperature. It's 113 degrees out. It's gonna happen. Your tires are gonna get warm. You're gonna start looking to, you know, try and push, maybe catch someone, and you might just overcook it. You might lock up those brakes, and it's possible that we're gonna see a bunch of repeats, but so far it looks like most cars still running. No one, nothing major too far as no fray there for a second might have done a little off-track racing as we do hop here to Lucas Moody. A little bit of a nice rear view of Dylan Keynes hunting him down in the background for this 7th position. Keynes actually has Andrew Williams and a no fray a little farther back sitting behind him. So not going to want to be letting Keynes past him here. As we do go through this chicane, already saw one car, Robert Kiesel Jr. sitting sideways through here as we're coming down to this turn 1, La Source. Here's Skinker. And this race so far has been really close. Again, a lot of close racing for what is 113. Looks like somebody actually went off track there for a second from my position. Leclerc, just a little bit of an off track there. Ooh, oh my God. That was incredibly close. As someone spun, Athena Leclerc already tapped it off. There's that spin in that turn 1, which is unfortunate. Looks like just a bit too on the gas too early. As Halterman trying to chase down Ega Lamar here. Whoa! And a move from, I'm not even too sure who that car is who made that one. I believe it was Lamar. Lamar setting it there on the outside. What a nice move from him. Robert Kiesel Jr. sitting in that backside. Already was sideways on the chicane. Hopefully his tire is sitting okay to be making these types of moves with Halterman hunting in the back. Both of them fighting for this 16th position here, or sorry, 15th position of Eka Lamar. Down here. Driver Kiesel Jr. just still sticking on the back of Eka Lamar here, trying to get something going on. Hunts on his backside, is gonna make the move, sends it alongside, comes to the corner. Unfortunately, he is going to have to take this one on the outside here. No contact between the cars, makes the move. Is he going to stick coming out of exit? Ooh! But it looked like there for a second, Robert Kiesel Jr. almost lost control of that car. Holds it together though, as Eka Lamar unfortunately had to give up that position, but isn't going to want to give this 16th position that he's now sitting into to Clint Halterman, sitting in that 17th, that 007 car behind him. Lamar taking all that curbing. Here comes Clint Halterman. Clint Halterman taking it on the inside. Ooh, I don't know about that one. Does send it full through the chicane though. Understands he's not going to try and get back on. Unfortunately, is going to have to yield a decent amount of time over the next course. As here's Esteban Munez. Ooh, trying to make a nice little move there on Adrian Tubakovic, but Tubakovic just holding it down. As we do see Ben Fior alongside with Bradley Skinker. And this was fighting for this P4 position here. It's Ben Fiore making it past, I believe it's actually Hunter Hadesty. Sitting there behind him, trying to catch up to this P4. As Cale Davidson goes off track there for a little bit. I did hear a car unfortunately slam into a wall or lightly tap another car. Not too sure what happened there. It was a little bit of a loud noise. We're not too sure. I'm sure maybe someone will talk about that one after the race here, but Hunter Hasty hunting down Benjamin Fiore. Just sitting here fighting, trying to get this position. And here we have our current race leader, Jordan Johnson, sitting up in first, about 3 seconds in front of Muhammad Alif, sitting in that second position. Cale Davidson, 8 seconds behind Jordan Johnson here in front. And then we have that battle for fourth that we were watching previously. So currently, Jordan Johnson running away with this race right now. Not as close as what we saw in Indianapolis between Johnson and Alif. But overall, still close racing. A lot closer than we definitely did see in Indy in terms of the cars that are spread out throughout the rest of the race. But again, Johnson still just way far ahead. And here we actually see a close battle between Bradley Skinker and Hunter Hadesty for this 5th place here, as Hadesty coming out of this turn one. Here's Bradley Skinker's time. He is going to want to get past him, try and get some momentum coming into the Rouge here. There it is, takes all of that curbing available. Here he comes, he's on the bumper of Haydacy. Skinker to the outside. Haydacy accepting that he's there as they do come down into the turn, and ooh, had enough of car's length. Skinker actually going to back out of that one as Haydacy snapped it just a little bit there in front of him. Not enough to mess up the car too much, as the track temp has actually cooled down a bit. We've gone down a couple of degrees. We started at like 111 or something, maybe even 15. It was a ridiculous amount, but we're down to a more reasonable for what we've seen so far, 106 degrees here at Spa. We down to Dylan Keynes looking on that Skinker as, oh, someone goes off into the branches, cooked their tires there, maybe locked up. I'm not entirely too sure who that was. I would love to get a replay of that if we could, but we might have to live with the fact that a ghost car went off, and we might not be able to see that one. As Dylan Keynes, Skinker, Hunter Haydacy, and Lucas Moody all within 2 seconds of each other, hunting for this 5th position here as we hop on board with Dylan Keynes looking at Bradley Skinker while also trying to defend off Lucas Moody, sitting a second behind him as we come to the famous chicane here at Spa. A nice little, you know, we're just driving at this point, right? No one's really battling for each other right now. We're sitting just driving around. We can enjoy a nice little onboard with Dylan Keynes as he sits behind Bradley Skinker. Just listen to the roar of these engines through the Rouge. Lovely part of the track there. Taking all of the curbing, Dylan Keynes. And here we come to this turn 5, 6, and 7 here. 7, this nice little right-hander here. And this is where you want to make up your time, right? As we do see Skinker actually losing some time compared to Keynes here. As we hop to Mark Turek, battling with Nick Stockner for his 18th position. Sorry, 19th position, yes. As they come alongside here. Mark Turek taking the lead ahead of Nicholas Stockner. Ooh, but unfortunately just sends it a little bit wide there. That might give Nick Stockner a chance to catch him. Might have some more exit speed coming through here. But no, unfortunately not. Just not close enough. Stockner might have some more downforce in Mark Turek's car here for him to get a little more straightaway speed. Ooh, Nicholas Stockner trying to make a little bit of a move there, but nothing really open for Mark Turek. Doing an excellent job at defending so far. Oh, Nicholas Stockner eating that sand there. That's going to lose him a ton of time. Mark Turek also eating a bunch of sand, but ooh, Nicholas Stockner almost losing it as well, but holds on pretty much. And here we jump back to Dylan Keynes with, again, this battle here between Lucas Moody, Dylan Keynes, Bradley Skinker, and Hunter Haydacy, with Keynes looking on Skinker in front of him. Just trying to get something going, getting some of this slipstream through this Rouge. Surrounded by Ball State University cars as he does come here, goes alongside on this inside here. Obviously this one is a bit of a right-hander, so they are going to go alongside into it, and Keynes going to have to back out, obviously. A Skinker going to have a better line through this corner. Still hunting it. Keynes on the back of Skinker here. Looking for something through these corners. Is still on the back of him. might be able to make something up. It has gained a decent amount of time. But unfortunately, just loses all of that time that he gained there on the back of Skinker. But he's going to have another go around at him when they do come back out of that turn one going to the Eau Rouge if he does manage to keep this type of distance that he has. We are seeing the field kind of spread out just a little bit as we hop to Adrian Tubakovic and going way past Aiken Lamar there, taking advantage of this little corner here. So once again, back to Kane's hopping on the front of his car here, coming to the chicane here at Spa. Coming down to the start-finish line here. On the back of Skinker, and if you're Lucas Moody, you want them to keep fighting here. You want Skinker and Canes to keep sticking on top of each other. It's going to allow you a chance to catch up and maybe look to try and pass them. But even as I said it, that Canes is going to have an advantage. This is where he's going to need to make his move, get in that slipstream of Skinker here. Unfortunately, just not close enough as we come into this turn here. Might get a better line than him through and might be able to look for something, but it does look like his car is slipping just a little bit. You know, we have gone back up to our classic 110 degrees. It cooled down a little bit, but the sun here at Spa, unfortunately not going to be working with our drivers today here out on the track. And as these tires get more and more cooked and more wear gets applied to them, high temperature, not going to be what you want as if you're a driver here today. And Kane's trying to get something going on Skinker, but we're just racing. We're sitting on our positions. No one's really fighting for each other right now. It's just the slow, patient game of, can I keep my tires together? For Skinker, he's sitting here happy. And even though Skinker's sitting here happy, you know who is sitting up in our first place position? Jordan Johnson, sitting all by himself, incredibly happy, as our Muhammad Alif dropped to actually last time we checked in was about 3 seconds behind, sitting now at 5 seconds behind for Jordan Johnson, making a little bit of a 2-second gap from the last time we saw him to our Muhammad Alif, as here he is going through the course. Is still plenty and a far away from Cale Davidson, however, who is a full 8 seconds back. So no one really going to be looking to catch up to Alif or Johnson right now, unfortunately. Though Fiore maybe might have a chance on Cale Davidson here. If Davidson makes some mistakes, Fiore might be able to catch up. It's once again hopping back to this Skinker Canes battle that has been going for about as long as I can remember during this race. But unfortunately, Lucas Moody used to be sitting about a second behind. Has actually fallen down to 2 seconds. But he's still going to want to keep seeing these two battling because it means they're going to drive slower just to accommodate for each other. So here we jump to Jason Wallet and Alexander Diamond, sitting back here in 12th and 13th respectively. Wallet trying to get something onto Diamond here. We can see him. He's hunting him in his mirrors. Fortunately, does not have the juice to get him here in the more technical parts of the track, however. As we once again hop back to this Skinker Canes battle for the 6th place. And Hadesty actually jumping a little bit farther ahead. We did talk about the fact that maybe they might be able to Skinker might be able to get him to Hadesty, but it does look like with Kane sitting this far behind him, he's had to drive a little slower, and ooh, looks like Kane's did not have that great of an exit there coming out of that chicane compared to who we are watching in the back of Skinker. As it does look like Skinker going to have just much more speed through this early part of the track compared to Kane sitting behind him. Rouge. Fortunately, the pass not going to happen this time around. There's not enough speed and momentum to sit in that slipstream, get up close, and send it alongside. In terms of our pit stops, so we're not entirely too sure on where they're going to pit, when they're going to pit. I talked about it before the race started that the undercut might be powerful. I'm not entirely too sure how these tires work here at Spa. You might want them. You might see I'm this far ahead. I don't really need to go in except for fuel. But Jordan Johnson obviously sitting way in a far away. And it definitely wants to keep up that pace compared to a Leaf. So once again, Skinker and Kane's coming down here, just riding it out. Getting around the Blanchimont. Coming down to everyone's favorite portion of the track, the chicane. As we do get to drive past the lovely start-finish line there, as once again Kane's not being able to get that chicane too properly, actually slipped it up a little bit there, and is going to lose a decent amount of time compared to where he was last time, was only sitting about 0.6, now actually sitting a full second behind onto Skinker, and has been slowly drifting away from him the lower laps that have been done on this race. Could be a product of just that tire wear that we talked about. As we do hop here to Jason Wallet and Alexander Diamond. Saw them a little bit earlier there. Ooh, as Alexander Diamond throwing his car there, doing a little move coming out of that turn one. Once again, Wallet and Alexander Diamond just relaxing here. Nice day at Spa. Unfortunately, it is 107 degrees, but it's a nice day if, you decided to put some sunblock on. As we do once again hop back to Bradley Skinker and Dylan Keynes. Here we got Robert Kiesel. Saw him earlier, sideways in the chicane, was sitting a little higher up than he is now. Definitely does not want to be in this position compared to where he was, but unfortunately is just going to have to ride with it. Didn't kill the car, which is always a positive. It's actually Kane's right on the back of Skinker. Obviously, this is coming into the chicane, here it is. Here's our first pits. We got Dylan Keynes and Bradley Skinker going into the pits. Benjamin Fiore already in the pits from what I can see. As we're coming here a little slowly. Our first 3 pits so far. 3 down. We're gonna see some more, hopefully, coming through this. As unfortunately, our back pit cam gets to see the other side of the wall. Oh, Bradley Skinker. Unfortunate accident there is going to hurt his car, going to hurt Keynes coming out of the pits. Keynes is like, hey, what are you doing, man, over the radio? But a bit of an unfortunate situation there. We see some more cars coming here to pit as they're coming around. Unfortunately, Skaker there just give it a big tap on the wall as Burrell already sitting in the pits. Unfortunately, we did see him go out a little bit earlier. Might have some permanent damage on that car. Not too sure. As Ben Fury is revving the engine saying, "Get me out of these pits. I'm in here. I'm doing my duty. Let me go." Ooh, Ben Fury going out pretty fast, but it does seem like actually Skinker's coming out of the pits with him, and it looks like Dylan Kane's taking a bit of a longer pit stop compared to the both of them. Is going to come out a little bit later and is actually losing speed by not having that draft. But Ben Fiore, unfortunately, losing a position there in that pit, but it's going to look to gain it back. Might have taken tires as we hop on board with Robert Wilson Jr. trying to hunt down Alexander Diamond while also being hunted down by Clint Halterman. Nice little three-way battle here for this 9th position with Wallet sitting comfortable second ahead. Here comes Kiesel coming on the back of Alexander Diamond trying to get around him here, but unfortunately it is the chicane as Kiesel taking a bit of an unorthodox pit stop there. A nice little drive in. Not an unorthodox pit stop, but maybe on the entry, as we do see a no fray behind Lucas Mini coming out of the pits with Esteban Muniz and Alexander Diamond already sitting in there. As we do hop here to our Muhammad Alif sitting in second. Hasn't pitted yet. Jordan Johnson hasn't pitted yet. And Cale Davidson also not having pitted yet. Our first, second, and third runners currently in this race. Possibly going to be coming in shortly. Probably going to have to be coming in shortly because of that fuel. As we do hop here to a no fray. As Skinker and... Oh! They actually tapped each other there a little bit. As Skinker Fury fighting for this position here. Coming down to this turn one. So we did see them give each other a little love tap there in the corner. We do see Skinker come out ahead of theirs saying, "Fury, get out of my way." As we hop here to Clint Halterman hunting down Jason Wallet. It might be nice that he's in 5th right now. Unfortunately, is going to have to pit at one moment or another. Here we hop to Skinker and Fury, still fighting for that 7th position. We do hop on to the right side of Fury's car here, sitting in that passenger side. Maybe egging him on a little bit, telling him to drive a little faster through this section. And it does seem that Muhammad Alif coming into pit here was running second. Hunter Hadesty running 4th, also coming into pit here. Cale Davidson and Jordan Johnson still staying out though. As once again, here's Clint Halterman and Jason Wallet. Still, at this point, we don't know when is Jordan Johnson going to pit. Is going to be running much faster, has been running much faster for the entirety of the race, but Alif is, sitting, he's going into pits, he's doing it early, he's getting it out of the way. Maybe that undercut's going to be strong as Halterman. Ooh, here comes Jason Wallet as Halterman actually passing Jason Wallet here on this straight, coming into the first turn of our track. Our 5, 6, and 7. Gotta love track numbers. And Alif, here doing some nice little moves, warming up his tires there, coming out of the pits, obviously. So he's going to want to get them as warm as possible. And you know what? The track tip is going to help him as we do see some smoke in the background. Not entirely too sure if that smoke's from I don't know if that smoke's from the fact that it's 110 deg 11 degrees outside, might have got a tree on fire somewhere, or someone just spun it out. It happens, right? As we do have Lucas Moody here, taking a little bit of sand there. And here's Lucas Moody with Onofre behind him. Onofre is gonna wanna get around him. Does have a lot more exit speed there, is gonna have to back off a little bit. But, ooh, here he comes, sending it alongside Lucas Moody is Onofre coming down here to this turn, giving each other a respectable amount of space. As Cale Davidson in the pits, was one of our last people looking to pit who was running up front. So here's Onofre once again on Moody. Unfortunately, had to back out just a little bit. But he's hunting him. He wants to get around him. He's looking for it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. But here he goes. He sends it alongside Onofre on Lucas Moody into the turn here. And it might be a little bit of crossover as we do hop here. Leaf back to Fiore. Back to Moody. As here's Onofre getting past Moody. Is he going to be able to keep it here? As Moody might get crossed over, but no. Looks like Onofre getting enough exit speed there to hold the position, at least for now. As we see in front, actually, Ben Fiore hunting down Stinker. Stinker being hunted down by people for the majority of this race. Already had to deal with Payne sitting behind him for plenty of laps. Now he's got Fiore. And here we have it, Jordan Johnson going into pit, our leader, taking the latest pit compared to everyone else on the field. Only have about an estimated 6 laps left, but hey, we want to get those late tires. We want to keep them as not as warm as possible and keep them in that perfect condition. As somebody is sitting there going slow, as we have Onofre and Lucas Moody here. Both fighting for each other while Fiore and Stinker fight in front. But honestly, could be a possible 4-way battle for this 5th position, which feels oddly familiar for some particular reason. As we hop here to the rear of Lucas Moody. Actually having passed Onofre, as Onofre was ahead of him. As here's the leader in this little train of cars here, Bradley Skinker. Actually managing to lose Fiore a decent amount, is running much faster through this part of the track. As here's the back of Fiore's car, looking at Skinker while Skinker's looking at, or sorry, Fiore's looking at Moody while Moody's looking at Onofre. Guys, we've run this same little, 4-way battle. It's taking a toll on me. Too many cars. Keep it to your 2-way battles. I don't even mind the 3-way ones, but 4, someone make a pass. It does look like a Leaf actually making a nice little catch up to Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson, having taken that, late pit, was running, but Johnson now going to be on fresh tires. But even so, Leaf has already warmed his tires. He's gotten to a pristine point, but Johnson might be able to run away with the race. As here we hop on to Fiore. Fiore's looking to try and get around Lucas Moody. Or sorry, that's Hunter Hadesty. Hadesty, if we can get a replay on that, I would love to see that. Hunter Hadesty having run in such a great position. So we do hop to the replay here. Hunter Hadesty coming around here, and just lost the car there, overspun it a little bit, was running in a very respectable 4th position for himself. That is going to drop him down all the way to 9th as this little four-way train here of Lucas Moody, Ben Fiore, Bradley Skinker, and Edwin Onofre, as we do see Fiore trying to get past Moody here. Unfortunately not making it stick. Moody is going to come out ahead of this one, as Onofre and Fiore are now the ones fighting, and Lucas Moody hoping to possibly catch up to Stinker. And here's Onofre and Fiore. Fiore running a little slow, and Onofre just zooming past him is going to sit in front of him here as we do come around this Blanchimont. Coming down to everyone's favorite part of the track, the historical famous chicane at our lovely Spa, which is burning, and I'm sure if you touch the tarmac with your bare hands, you might give yourself a good burn. Sitting at 107 degrees right now. Oh, but Lucas Moody going a little too far is going to give up a ton of time. Onofre might be a little faster coming through that exit here alongside, coming into the Eau Rouge. Not the place you want to be alongside going into as Onofre, giving him enough room, but Lucas Moody is just running the better line, is going to have more speed there, and is going to claim his position back, even though he almost lost it, going a little too far, as we do see Benjamin Fiore trying to make a move. Around Onofre, nothing too much though. Is going to have a bit of a better exit speed though, as Onofre did have to take that one a little worse for himself. And here's Onofre just sitting on the back of Lucas Moody. Moody is still going to want to try and catch up to Skinker here, but I don't know if he can. Skinker making a great run for himself here, sitting about almost 3 seconds ahead of this, what was a four-way battle reduced down to 3. We hop to the rear part of Onofre's car here, possibly starting to feel a little bit of tire wear. Obviously, they did get fresh tires already, but you know, with the heat, with the track temp, they're going to wear fast, and especially in these cars. We've already seen a bunch of spins as Lucas Moody going alongside there for a second. Then Fiore, as Moody is trying to put the moves on. Oh my God, as we do a little bit of a maneuver there as Fiore dodging Moody. I appreciate that we didn't have another sideways car in the chicane there for a moment, as all of a sudden, surprise, it's Canes showing up here as, oh my God, Moody off the track. We've seen him do it once. Maybe that's the tires, a little bit of a lockup, send him off. Canes going to get around, possibly. Unfortunately, spoke just a little bit too soon. Moody looking like his car has like 12 tons of downforce extra compared to the rest of the field, as he just took off compared to Canes. Even though he had a little bit of an off track there, he was gone on the straightaway. But maybe that leaves time for Canes to catch up in this technical section compared to these straights. Already somehow made his way up here. I'm not entirely too sure if he's just been driving great laps, or if the fact that they've been fighting for about the entire race completely slowed them down. And listen, even though we've been seeing some excellent, you know, drives here, there's no mistaking the fact that Jordan Johnson, Alif, Davidson are all just completely running away with the field. I mean, they've been gone for the entire race. We did see Hunter Haydocy up there in that 4th, was also running, and unfortunately just had a bit of a lockout, and it just took the car out, put him down there in 9th right now as we hop to the front of Moody's car. Trying to get on around Fiore here, but not entirely too sure if this move is going to happen. It's been the story of who is taking this 5th place for most of the race. Does look like a no fray, though, however, has kind of run away with it for the time being. As here we see Moody sending it alongside into the chicane here. Not sure if this is the craziest place to pass there, making through. Everyone's A-okay. Whoa! Fiore sending that one to the right there. Uh, Actually, Kane's having to move out of the way, not to kill his car. Has a little bit of a lockup there from Fiore. Kane's having to send this one along. And Moody, sorry, not Moody. Yes, Moody. Moody, once again, locking the car up in this turn one. I mean, it's been maybe the third lap in a row that we've seen him do that, losing in more positions. I mean, he's made up the time every time, but this time doesn't look like it's going to be happening for him as Dorian Gaines starting to run away from him, but Moody sitting and hunting. So we hop back onto Keynes as Keynes and Moody going along. Sorry, not Moody. As Fiore and Keynes going alongside here, coming down through this corner. As it does look like a little scary, but it does look like Fiore's going to come out on top of this one for now. But Keynes almost losing the car there for a second. Rear gave out on him for a little bit. It does look like they're going relatively through here, but man, Keynes has so much more speed, and I am pretty sure that looked like a block. I may not be a steward, however, I can use my eyes and some of my brain cells. As Fiore, I mean, look, Keynes obviously has the speed, right? If you want to do defending, that's perfectly okay. But that was pretty reactionary. So we can see Keynes coming around here through our lovely Blanchiment. Coming down to the certified most famous part of the track, the chicane. Would love to have that on as I've been suggested, a t-shirt. However, maybe a mug. Give me a mug with that. One of those mugs that sits and kind of lights up as you pour stuff into it. As this time, someone else going off into the turn one, doing a little bit of off-track roading. Here we come through the Rouge. Coming down to the turn here, Keynes trying to get around Fiore. It's been a couple of laps. Obviously, we had the pretty obvious block throw that I may have to take back after broadcast. Not too sure about it just yet. Ooh, but Fiore actually taking a little too much of the curbing off there, as Keynes going to have much more speed to him, as now Lucas Moody sitting behind him here, and they both want to get around Fiore here. As he is just running a bit too slow, and it's actually given time. You can see the back there, Esteban Munoz able to catch up, and possibly, you know, if they keep battling, hey, he may be able to gain a few positions. As here's Fiore coming down once again through this latter half of the track here, just getting absolutely hounded by the people behind him. As Keynes been trying to make a move for forever, as now Moody sitting on the back here. Esteban Munoz dropping to 1.8 seconds behind, already an increase from that 3 seconds previously, might make this yet another four-way battle. Here comes Keynes, finally making this move here alongside, and just full sending it through that corner. Man, where is he getting his grip? It's 105 degrees out. Somebody check that car. As Fiore loses one position, Moody alongside. Ooh, and an excellent save there from what I believe is Lucas Moody, as he does take that position. And now, I said about him before, here's Esteban Munoz sending it alongside here into the corner, and Benjamin Fiore just sending it too far. I mean, you know, the cars are both red, but might be cosplaying Lucas Moody there in that turn one for a bit of a moment. As here comes Esteban Munoz sitting on the back of Moody he caught up. I mean, he's here. He's in this battle now, looking to be a little bit of an 8 and 7 battle here between, once again, Moonez and Moody, and there he goes. He sends it in, but I don't know about that one. I may not drive these cars, but that does not look like the greatest place on the track to pass, as Esteban Moonez maybe might have tapped Lucas Moody's car there. Not entirely too sure about that one. Heard a bit of a noise, but he did definitely get to eat some grass there. As Jordan Johnson takes the win here, unfortunately, wasn't too sure about that white flag. Mhm. As we do see Onofre and Bradley Skinker here fighting for this fourth as Leaf takes second. And it does look like Hale Davidson, unless he somehow completely spins the car here, is going to be our top three finisher as Onofre and Bradley Skinker battling for fourth here, coming down to the last part of the track through the Blanchimont. Coming down here as right now Skinker behind, Onofre ahead. Coming into the chicane here, Onofre going to take this one, had to lock up just a tiny bit, is going to hold the car. Here comes Skinker behind him, but just not enough to get it through as Onofre is going to come down to here as someone just completely blew up their car in the background, like death beyond belief. I That was the loudest noise I've ever heard as we do believe that might have been Munez. Not entirely too sure. It sounded like someone's engine blew up, their tires fell off, their rear spoiler fell off, and then they fully crashed into the turn one barrier. But here we have it, folks, rounding out the end of the finish as here comes Aiken Lamar coming across, taking a nice respectable 14th. Adrian Tubakovic coming here for this 15th position. Taking the M there, as now we jump to Timothy Wilms. From what I can see in our nice little relative position, the last car here on the lead lap as he comes around here, does the world famous Spa chicane come into our start finish line. And an excellent finish for once again our race winners. Obviously, Jordan Johnson sitting in that nice first place. Our Muhammad Alif taking that second, and Cale Davidson taking third. All three of them. I mean, shoot, we didn't even talk about them barely during the race. They were in a league of their own. We focused on them during that pit stops, but they ran away with the race. It was theirs to get first, second, and third, respectively. And we thought, hey, maybe there might be something when Alif went in early for the pits, but it didn't matter. Uh, Fortunately for all three of them, retained their spots. Hunter Hadesty probably not finishing as well as he wanted to, sitting in that fourth position. Just had that unfortunate lockup moment and lost the car a little bit, coming out of what I believe was turn six, or turn 10. As we are sitting nice and comfortable, and possibly burning here in the broadcast booth with it being 109 degrees out, as we do see who I believe is Jordan Johnson uh, doing some fun burnouts on the track there, respectively for a very commanding win. I mean, look at him go. And it does look like we are hopefully going to be getting our race winners into the waiting room. We'll get them eventually. Right now we got Cale Davidson sitting in there waiting. We're gonna wait for the other ones, and we can bring Cale Davidson in here. Normally we do bring him in here. Let's get him. Hello,
Hello.
We got Cale Davidson here. How's the third place feel for today?
Uh, pretty comfortable in this spot.
And I know you were driving pretty much by yourself. Let's be honest, that first, second, and third position, you guys were well and far away. Did you ever feel threatened at any point in the race that you might lose that third position?
Um, for a split second, I could say yeah, because obviously the Porsche had. I want to say the Porsche was definitely the best car on grid to be running, but I was not the best person behind the Porsche. So I did multiple like test runs, like 40 lap runs with the car, and the tires were shredded after every single session, but obviously it was faster. So I'm pretty sure I'm one of the one-off people that actually took tires during the pit cycle. So taking those tires, I knew that would drop me back a little bit. So I was like a little nervous at that point because I've never taken tires before in this race, so I didn't know where that would actually like let me end up. So I kind of took a guess there, and I still came out about 18 seconds ahead. So I think it turned out pretty good.
And for those tires, just about how much do you think they really helped you here?
Oh, it was night and day. So I'm having to adjust the roll bars and stuff throughout the race because the back end just gets looser and looser. The Porsche on this track just shreds the rear tires. So I went in, changed tires, and instantly set my fastest lap the next lap out. And I was seeing like I could see what times Jordan was putting in, and I was putting maybe like 2/10, 3/10 faster laps. So I wasn't gonna catch him, but obviously my pace was drastically faster than if I didn't switch tires on that.
And that was a pretty impressive third place finish. Do you have anything you want to shout out here on the broadcast?
Yeah, I want to shout out Indie Hood Rats for sponsoring the car, sponsoring the sim, all that kind of stuff. Shout out Ball State Esports. Obviously, all my teammates. We almost had a Ball State 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll get that again. We'll definitely we'll go for a 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be the goal. Dan Marino and BK, our esports directors, for making this all kind of possible. And then obviously I want to shout out my mom and my dad, and good luck to my dad. He's on the 24 BMW for the Rolex 24. So we'll be rooting for them.
And we'll be rooting for them too. I'm glad you had an amazing race. Our third place finisher, Cale Davidson. Thank you very much. And production wishes him luck.
Thank you guys.
And now, even though we're sitting here, we did pull in third place first. So let's pull in our second place, our Muhammad Alif, finishing a respectable second here at Spa today. Hello, Alif.
Hey,
How's the second place feel for today?
terrible. Yeah, probably not, but yeah, I mean, the setup I think wasn't there probably, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, it probably wasn't our day in terms of pace. But yeah, John did a great job in terms of driving, and yeah, that's that.
Hey, listen, even though not as great as you wanted, look, you were miles away from the rest of the field there. How did it feel to be sitting just that far away from everyone? Were you just driving comfortably, or were you really trying to hunt down Jordan Johnson sitting in front of you?
Oh yeah, obviously I was trying to hunt down Jordan, but yeah, this there was a bit of issues with the energy deployment. Sometimes it doesn't deploy for the whole lap. Sometimes it does. So I don't know what's up with that with the caddy. My teammates were kind of reporting the same issues. So yeah, I think we just gotta go back. Revisit, watch the replay, see what exactly went wrong, and yeah, kind of go from there.
And I know, obviously, I'm sorry that you had those issues, but the performance by you and your teammates today, you proud of that? We hype for today?
Uh, Maybe half the team. But I think as a whole, the team did a great job. I think, given the cards that were dealt for us in terms of the car and all the things. So yeah, for sure. I think the guys are still. I think we are collectively still learning as a team. So yeah, it's just one of those days where you gotta go and try to find what went wrong and yeah, to keep pushing.
And I'm sure you'll take that and you'll bring that back to us next week. Do you have anything you want to shout out here today on the broadcast?
Yeah, I think my teammates, Kale, Lucas, and Bradley for all their hard work. Dan Marino, BK, who's our directors here at Ball State. Dean Turner, who's kind of in charge of the whole broadcast here. My sponsors, Motorsport Singapore, Sports SG as well for their support. Actual Sports, who is my sister team from in Malaysia. So yeah, and also Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. It's also I'm representing, and Next Level Racing.
Thank you for your time today here on the broadcast. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And this is Muhammad Arleef, our second place winner for today. And coming down to it, we are going to bring in our first place winner, Jordan Johnson, running far and away from everyone else on the field. And here's Jordan Johnson, our race winner today. How's it going? How's it feeling? What's up?
Pretty good. Uh, pretty relaxed by the end of that. I just kind of got over just kind of rode the car through the rest of the race. I'm not too much to throw into it. The cars so kind of fantastic. Didn't need to push it more than I needed to, and just brought it home.
Yeah, running far and well away. I mean, look, a full over 10 seconds gap. I mean, you were gone. Was there ever any point in the race you felt any sort of threat, or were you just completely chill, just relaxed, pretend maybe you're driving a simulator or something?
Pitting because I didn't know how the car was going to handle at sub 100 kilometers an hour. Especially once the tires, I mean, I think I pitted, I had like 50% tread left or something like that. I didn't change tires either, but I had no idea how the car was going to feel coming into the pit lane and finally being offline because I stayed pretty well within the track limits all race. So, yeah, that was really the only scary part is just don't put it in the wall and then you overthink it and then you put it in the wall anyways. So, other than that, it was just once I saw I got a gap and was building time, it was just keep it together and just let the natural pace do its work.
Yeah, and congratulations once again on your race win. But looking towards next week, how we feeling about Daytona?
Um, Pretty good. I may have a little bit of extra bias, extra practice considering my results in the Daytona 24. So we'll see how it goes from there. Hopefully everything transfers over 1-to-1. I know when I ran the enduro, the car felt fantastic on all conditions. So I really look forward to how it's gonna handle on our conditions next week. Just need to make sure that I'm up to date and not missing my marks.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see everyone else there as well. You got anything you want to shout out today here on the broadcast for your nice little race win?
Yeah, of course, Apex Racing Academy for everything that they've done in the past month that we've been partnered together a little bit more. Of course, just the kind of coaching and support that I've gotten from my guys, my teammates. Alex Gall being probably the biggest help to me so far. That I just want to make sure that he gets what it gets. Gets a good little shout out there. And of course, all of our partners, VRS, Computers, PC Systems, course, just Apex Racing team as a whole, and us being right under them and SDK Gaming, and just all the support that we get from everyone. So appreciate all the help that we get and just being able to run lap in, lap out, and keep trying to do the best we can.
Well, thank you very much for your time here today on the interview broadcast. That was our race winner, Jordan Johnson. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
And and now we bring in our alumni winner, Edwin Onofre, running a great race today. And here he is in the booth with us. Onofre, how was the race today?
I have several questions because I don't know how is it that I got in barely into the session with 3 minutes left in practice, started 11th, and worked my way up to 4th. I just can't believe with myself about that. But how are you guys?
Oh, we're doing just lovely. Maybe a little bit sunburned. Track temperature running a little bit hot. chilling at a nice 110, 115 degrees. How did that affect you running today, Onofre? That heat just killing those tires, wearing them down.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice the trend that these races will have high hot temperatures. So I gotta get prepared to deal with that because last week at Indianapolis, I was not ready for the hot temperatures and I didn't take tires there that time. So that costed me some time. Seeing the same pattern happen here, I was like, okay, I gotta get tires because there's no way I'm gonna be able to make up the spots that I've lost if I did take it because I'll be losing time. Now, yes, the truck was super hot. I would say sunburned, but I think it also burned my eyes because it got super bright on the track that I couldn't distinguish it between the sand in some areas. That's how bright it was. But yeah, it was a whole different experience that I gotta adapt to. Like, yeah, I have experience in the Cadillac GTP, but it was just very difficult to do it on hot tires. I did appreciate the fact that because it's hot tires, that means you got to try to find a way to save your tires. And I don't know if a lot of drivers here in this series do save tires, but I do have that experience. So that might be what helped me gain positions from 11th to 4th.
And looking forward to next week, you talking about the fact that you do have that tire saving experience. We got 90 minutes of Daytona. You think your tire saving experience is going to help you a ton there, and we might see you back here in the booth?
For sure. I mean, no offense to the other alumni drivers, but so far, this is only for so far. I've seen to be the one that gets the upper advantages on tire saving. Mine is in Indianapolis. Now I do gotta get more prepared for the 90-minute because that's twice the amount of 45 minutes. So I gotta try to figure out if I need to double stint, if it's okay with me staying out on the first stint and not take tires, or whichever the case is. But the 90-minute thing is something I am looking forward to because it is a whole different thing that not a lot of us are like. All of us have done IMSA racing, that's 45 minutes, but not a lot of us have done endurance times to where it extends beyond that. But I am looking forward to it. Daytona's not one of my best tracks, but I'll see what I got up cooking up for next week.
We can't wait to see you hopefully back here on the booth once again next week. I'm sure it'll be there. But do you got anything you want to shout out tonight on today's broadcast?
Shout out to my viewers. They've been here since my beginning of my stream, and I can't thank them enough for giving me the support. Shout out to you guys as well for having this stream up on your end, the Collegiate iRacing League, and thank you for this league session. That way I can get myself some opportunities to probably look some sponsors around here. Shout out to all my friends at my University of North Texas. Shout out to all my coworkers at Discount Tire. I'm about to join them tomorrow to put away tires. I got like around 300 tires around every Friday, and I'm the one that put them all up. I am ready to work, and so in this series.
Well, I hope you enjoy your tire putting away tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming in the interview booth for tonight. Has been our alumni winner, Edwin Onofre. Thank you very much. And folks, that was all of our interviewees. Once again, first place here at Spa, Jordan Johnson. Second place, R. Muhammad Alif. And third place, Cale Davidson, with our alumni winner being Edwin Onofre. If you want to see more from us here at the Collegiate iRacing League, we do have our College Cup Series, which will be racing at oh, dear God, I've just looked at it. We will be at Iowa at 129, 2024, aka next Monday. And we also have our Formula College, which will be racing at something that I have no idea, Silverstone, which will be off the top of my head next Wednesday, which is a quote me on that because that's entirely correct. And we will see you back here next week at Daytona, which will be our actual first 90-minute race. First one of the season. There will be a couple of these. We will also be doing it at Le Mans and Sebring and Road Atlanta for what I believe will be the very last race of the season. So feel free, show up next week. Actually, don't feel free. Come next week. I'm telling you. Please support our drivers, obviously. They've done an excellent job. And shout outs to my broadcast booth buddy here, who is not able to talk himself, but has done an excellent job of keeping everything moving today during this race. So I can't thank him enough. And this has been Spa. Uh, the second part of which I will not say, but we did run it in the prototype series. So this has been the Collegiate iRacing League Prototype Challenge. So we will see you guys next week.